with all that.
You know, not much. How was the drive?
It's cool. It was cool. So I got to go with MJ as the go to all goats. I mean, you know, I'm made for TV now. You know what I'm talking about? We were made for TV. Boom. Booyah.
You're rocking the Texas Sports Media Outlet with Texas Sport.
Welcome back to Texas Sports Media Outlet. Today we have former MLB outfielder Nook Logan in the house. And I, for one, just wanted to say I'm so glad that you came. I'm super excited to get to talk to you and everything. So our conversation today is kind of just going to be real baseball talk, no fluff, no filter, just conversation.
Right.
And I want to hear all about your story and everything that goes along with it. So super excited that you're here and to get to talk to you.
I'm glad to be here. No other place to be today for me, right here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what do you think was the most overrated player that you played with or played against or anything like that?
Most overrated player? You know, I really can't say that anybody was overrated. They made it to the highest level.
Highest level.
But it's just some stuff that I saw, you know, some things that some guys did some things, some little extra things.
Yeah.
What I mean by fake hustle, you
Yeah.
know. For instance, balls in the outfield. You know, I'm really watching the outfielder. So
Yeah.
and I was considered, you know, one of the fastest guys in baseball. So I made a lot of plays or whatnot. So I would see guys get credit for making plays that I see that they intentionally slow up for to make diving plays and make stuff look harder than what it was. And, you know, I would say things like that. But as far as overrated player, I wouldn't, you know, come on an overrated player. But I seen some players, names. I don't know if I need names.
Oh, we don't need names.
Because these are great players.
They all made it to the top.
Yeah, well, I'm saying this one guy in particular, you know, he had a rap for people, you know, but he was a great player. And his name, I just give his initials is J.E. You know, he's, so, you know, I don't want to, you know, go too far with that. I don't want to put nobody down because he made it the highest level. He was one of the best to do what he did, but I saw some things that he was doing.
Yeah, I mean, I, by all means, did not make it to the highest level. I did play softball for 8 years.
Oh, that's what's up.
Thank you. But, I mean, even back then when I was like 12, 13, 14, I was seeing girls on my softball team and other softball teams doing that. And I was like, the ball's right there. You don't have to try that hard.
Exactly. So it happens at the highest level too. And then, you know, the camera's not on you all the time, so they don't see how you get jumps on the ball. They don't see, you know, certain things they don't see in the beginning or how plays are made. You know, they don't see that the guy that make the backhand play in the hole. They're like, oh, he got a great arm, did this. They don't know that the guy that hit it, he rounded to get first. You know, he rounded the bag, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and slow, you know, it's a lot of things we don't see.
Yeah, I think for sure. And I think the media plays a big part in that and picking who they want to have the camera on.
Right. And don't get me wrong, this guy made one of the best catches you ever want to see.
Yeah.
Or a few of them, but, you know, I just saw a few things.
Exactly. So along that lines, do you think there were any underrated players that you played with or played against?
Underrated players, yes. It was a lot of players that didn't get their due, especially playing, you know, me coming over with the Tigers. I was in the American League Central and, you know, the White Sox.
Yeah.
2004, that was my rookie year was 2004. And, you know, it had some guys and, you know, that you saw that was like, you know, the Joe Creedys and guys like that, you know. Against us, he was the Tiger killer.
Right.
You know. So the next year, you know, they went to the World Series. They beat the Astros. And the whole time in the World Series, I don't think they used their bullpen maybe once.
Yeah.
So they starters went all, you know, throughout the playoffs.
Yeah.
Throughout the playoffs, like, they dominated. It was, like, crazy. But Joe Creedy against us, man, he was one of those guys. Him, you know, like I said, in the American League Central, you had Michael Kadire with Minnesota Twins, Joe Creedy with the White Sox, of course. Him and Paul Konerko killed us.
Yes.
So, you know, those guys they're not the biggest names in baseball, but as far as us playing them 16 times a year, it was like, yeah, these guys, right, they do it too. And you had, in Minnesota also, you had guys like, you know, like I said, Michael Kadire, Jock Jones.
Yeah.
You know, everybody knew the stars, you know, Torrey Hunters and, you know, you had the Victor Martinez and guys like that. You know, Victor Martinez, the Indians. And, you know, You know,
Yeah.
we had it's good ball players all
Good
over
ball
the league.
players. Yeah. I mean, they're all at the top level. Can't get any higher than that.
Right. It's a
So,
different game today, though.
yeah, it is completely. But going along those lines, I think us as a fan base, we see all those top names because the media puts it out there like that.
Right.
But as a player, like you said, you see them more often. You see them 16 times a year. You see all those different people playing.
Right.
Who don't get that
That love,
media presentation.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And, you know, they ain't the big money guys. You know how it go.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of us fans who aren't super into the game, but we're like, oh, it's America's favorite sport, America's pastime. What do you think is something that we as a fan base believe to be true, but that is completely false about the major leagues?
A lot. I get this question all the time. Well, you know, I do lessons. I train kids all the time, so I ask this question to them all the time and their parents. And I ask, like, you know, 7:00 ball game. What time do you think that we get to the stadium to start getting prepared for a game? You know, we get times like 4 or 5 o'clock. I'm like 4 or 5 o'clock. No.
2?
We got guys getting at 1:30 in the afternoon, 2 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock at the latest.
Yeah.
You know, the latest, because stretch for the home team usually be around 3:45.
Yeah.
You know, visiting team come in 3:45, 4:45, something like this. It's been a while. And the visiting team come in, they stretch like 4:45 while we're taking batting practice. The home team, the visiting team, they're after us. So it's getting done pretty early. And those guys showing up at the same time, because not only that, they don't know the preparation that go into a game.
Exactly.
So you might have some guys get there, like I say, we get there that early. You might have guys that take 200 ground balls every day before a game. You have guys that's taking early BP on the field before the actual batting practice. You got rehab guys, there's pitchers that's throwing live BP. So some guys going down there getting their bats before the game.
Yeah.
You know, early that day. And you had the same thing going on with the visiting team.
Yeah.
So, you know, our preparation, that's the thing. People don't understand the preparation to get ready for a major league game. You know, and it's me being an outfielder, they don't know every stadium that we go into. Myself, I get my outfield coordinator. If it's my first time in the stadium that year, he just come out there with me, or outfield coach hitting balls off the wall just for me to get the feel of the ball coming off the wall. So I won't overplay, underplay, you know, because this may not even happen in the stadium. You might have something that happen one time a month, but you got to be prepared for it.
Exactly. And I think that's a big misconception, not only in baseball, but in kind of all sports.
Right.
And especially like even back when I was manager of my football team in high school.
Football, hold on, football.
Yes.
Okay, all right, yeah, football. Okay. I was thinking soccer. Go ahead.
No.
Yeah.
American football.
Okay.
But like people didn't understand like what we did
Right.
every day, and like to get ready for a game at 7:00, even at our home field, we'd get out of class at 2, 3 o'clock.
Right.
You know, and so being professional leagues, major league baseball, I can guarantee you it's 100 times more than what we did.
Yeah, I won't say it's 100 times more, because y'all got to get the ice and all this stuff ready for the. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people don't look at that. They just look at the end result. They don't look at, you know, what goes into to get every game going, and that's why it's so much money spent on it.
Right.
In every sport, you know.
I mean, you look at the inputs and profits and outputs economically in all these sports.
Mhm.
It's an insane amount of money.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yes,
And like contracts with the players, they're getting huge like deals, and it's
Mhm.
just insane. What do you think? Let me word this. Who was the one pitcher that you were kind of iffy about facing or scared to face?
Oh man, let me see, because you know I came in the league in the big leagues in 2004. I was drafted in 2000, so you know we came up. We had this guy, or Randy Johnson.
Mhm.
That's the first one I'm gonna go with. You know, he's just intimidating. He's 6'11". He throws 100 miles an hour left-handed. You know, I'm a switch hitter, so I'm batting right-handed. He had this slider. You know, he had this fastball first you had to worry about, because he's halfway to the plate when he delivered the ball.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
He's standing on the mound. He's 6'11", and seemed like he's right up on top of you. You know.
Yeah.
So, man, Randy Johnson, it was just scary just seeing him out there. But it's just one other one that I didn't hear much noise about, that when I faced him, I was like, this dude is different, you know. And it was Roy Halladay.
Okay.
You know, R.I.P. Roy Halladay, you know, plane crash, took his life a couple years ago. But facing this guy, it was like, okay, you gotta be on your A game.
Yeah.
Because this dude, he threw 3 fastballs. This is the thing. He'll give up runs, but still he he give up runs. Sometimes he give up 2 or 3 runs, but he'll be still in the game in the 9th inning because he don't throw that many pitches. Because he may get to the 6th inning just throwing fastballs. He throw a cut fastball. He throw a 2-seam fastball. He throws his 4-seam fastball. So he's throwing his 4-seam fastball 96 miles an hour, 97. He's throwing his cut fastball, which is like a hard slider that cuts away from right-handed hitters. And he's throwing that about 94, 95 miles an hour. Then he's throwing a 2-seam fastball that's diving into right-handed hitters, and getting ground balls. And when you make contact with his ball, his 2-seamer, man, it was like hitting a bowling ball. The ball don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's like ground ball to short. Matter of fact, I had one at bat against him in Toronto, and I have knots on my leg right now from fouling off balls. When I started hitting right-handed versus right-handers, I had stopped switch hitting toward the end of my career, and I was facing him, man. I had a 9-10 pitch at bat, and I fouled like 3 balls off my leg that won at bat. And he actually looked at me, chuckled, put his glove over his mouth, and he was like, "Take your time." I looked back, I was like, man, he's wearing me out. I don't think I had a hit off him, but shout out, and I tip my hat to Roy Halladay, man. He was a true pros pro, and he was one of those guys. He was one of those guys that other guys take a day off. The veteran guys be like, nah, I'm gonna go ask manager to give me a day off.
I'm gonna go eat, tan. Everything's gonna be fine.
I'm gonna be at the game, but I ain't playing tonight.
Yeah, no. I'll sit in the stands. I'll watch you. It'll be fun.
They're there. They're the dugout. They doing everything that we're doing, but they're just not in the lineup. They rooting us on, hoping we do well.
Yeah, and they're like, you got it, team.
And they earned that. The veteran guys been in the league, 7+ years, 10 years, or whatever, and they run the young guys out there, man. And, and facing him, hey, you better be prepared. Sometimes, you can be over prepared and then he gets you, but sometimes he's one of those guys that you may be like, you know what, I'm just going cold turkey, whatever happened.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes with those kind of people, you're just like, I'm just gonna go hit it. I'm just gonna go out there and swing.
See it and hit. Yeah, right. That's how I felt the second time I faced him. I had the same results though.
Yeah. Oh, craziness. I can't believe 6'11". That's very large.
Yeah, that's Randy Johnson that ran. Yeah, he was very intimidating.
Yeah, that guy. Wow.
He actually threw a ball in the All-Star game. He was facing, was it John? I don't know who he was facing. I know John Crook came up in the All-Star game. He's left-handed hitter. He put his helmet on backwards so it can be, he put his helmet on backwards and I think he got on the right-hand side. He was like, nah, I don't want to face that.
I'm good, thanks.
And he also threw a ball that hit a bird and the bird exploded.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I did that in golf the other day.
Oh, that's what's up.
Wow, crazy. So going along that and just everything with MLB, obviously I'm not a Major League Baseball player. So I'm kind of leaning on you for the truth, like behind the clubhouse, the stories, everything that goes along, living that lifestyle. So what do you think, is something that maybe the fans don't know that goes on in the locker room, something fun, something quirky that y'all do before a game or anything like that?
Oh, man, they wouldn't imagine all the things. Like, just you might get to your locker and no telling what's in your locker. You might get to your locker, it might be a snake in your locker or something like that. Just things that guys do to keep the clubhouse loose.
Yeah.
Keep the clubhouse loose. I had this one guy, one of my favorite teammates, man, in the big leagues. I had a lot of guys in minor leagues, but we had in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Robert Fick, man, he was a jokester, it's one of my favorite teammates, he knew the game, and he always was a veteran presence in the clubhouse that, he took care of everybody, made sure, but he also let you know when you messing up too. You know what I'm saying? He was one of those guys you leaned on for advice, and that's my guy, man. But another thing, let me see. We play kangaroo court. People don't know what that is.
I know what that is, yeah.
A lot of people don't. Let me explain it right quick. So it's like you're doing dumb things either on the field, off the field, and we have like a judge, jury, and judge, jury, and I don't want to say like lawyer, whatever. Yeah. Had like a 3-man panel, and they decide whether you get fined or whatever. And then we take the fine money at the end of the year and we have a party. You might have guys getting fined thousands of dollars. We have a party, whatever type party it may be, we have a party,
Yeah.
At the end of the year, and it's it's fun. It's the way to keep everybody, unified, connected as a team, and the camaraderie in the baseball locker room, man, is unmatched. It's not like football. You got defense and offense.
Yeah.
defensive players might not even hang out with the offensive players or
Exactly.
whatever. With baseball, all of us
You're all
interact.
one.
Yeah, except the pitchers. You know, they come. I mean, we do with the pitchers, but they come in with their golf clubs and stuff. They live a separate life than us sometimes.
Yeah. Is there any like ritual y'all used to do as a team or tradition before a game, or even just you would do to get ready for a big game or anything like that?
Every day was a big game up there, so
True.
every player has their own routine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. That's what I tell all my young players, even my guys, my kids, 10 years old. I'll be like, hey, you have a game, get in a routine. My minor league routine, it changed a little bit when I got to the big leagues. Then I had what I want to say, more time, more, it was like, in the minor leagues, I made sure before every game, I had powdered donuts and a Mountain Blast Powerade.
Okay.
Now it's called Blueberry Blast
The
or whatever. They
Blueberry
changed
Blast,
it. It don't
yeah.
even taste the same no more. It's better when it was Mountain Blast. But I had Mountain Blast and powdered donuts every day. And when I got to the big leagues, my thing was, especially being a young guy, I would get to the ballpark early, 1:30, 2 o'clock. Every day I would get there. Boom, I get there, I get my stretch. I go to the cage, I get off the machine, I bunt a little bit, I get my swings in off the tee. I hit early off the batting practice coach or whatever. And whoever throwing BP in the cage that day, come back up. I'm sweaty now, of course. Now I'm still 2 hours before we stretch. It's
Yeah.
4:45 or whatnot. So I come back up, I take a shower. Boom, I take a shower. Whatever I need, I take ibuprofen or whatever to get the soreness out
Yeah.
my body or whatever. Then, I get in the hot tub.
Love a hot
Again,
tub sesh.
after the shower, hot tub,
Yeah.
boom. Then we go stretch for
Yeah.
batting practice. After batting practice or whatever, I come back up, I shower. You had to be fresh going
Yeah,
into the game.
of
You got to be
course.
clean.
You got to be clean.
You got to be clean going into the game all the time. Everything's nice. And
Everything's like pressed.
Right,
Everything's
right.
good.
everything's good. So that was my routine, and I had my and if I wore my batting gloves, if these batting gloves had hits in them,
Mhm.
I'm riding them until they're tearing. I would be taking batting practice, and I'll be switching my batting practice batting gloves out with my game batting gloves. They still there as long as they getting grip on the bat.
I'm gonna wear.
Yeah, I'm wearing these. I'm wearing these, and that was it. Oh, I forgot about my sandwich, my burger, and my shake before the game. Well, my smoothie I made.
Okay.
Strawberries, blueberries, bananas.
All the things.
Yeah, yogurt and milk and everything. I make that smoothie before every game, and that was my thing.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, I think every player should have their own thing, and that sounds like an awesome routine. I love all the showers, the food. I'm really into it.
Yeah,
That
man.
could be my routine.
You gotta be fresh, and then when you get suited and booted,
Yeah.
when you get suited up,
feel good.
What Deion say? You look good,
Feel
feel
good.
good. You feel
play
good.
good.
You play good. If you play
Exactly.
good, they pay good. So that's it. That was our motto.
It's a great motto. Did you ever see anything? I know there was a big scandal a couple years ago. Did you ever see any cheating or sign stealing or anything like that back in the day?
Hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. As far as that on the field stuff, it's things go on within the game all the time.
Yeah.
Every team has some stuff that they're doing.
Yeah.
But the other teams don't call them out on it because they're doing something too.
Right.
But they figure it out, and every now and then you might see a guy on second base. Just pay attention to the game. You might see a guy on second base, and he's giving location.
Yeah.
He might be on second base. He get his lead off the base, and batter's hitting. If he take a step back to his left, if he's a left-handed hitter, it means the catcher set up inside.
Yeah.
If he get his lead, he don't move. I mean, the catcher set up on the other side of the plate. Things like that.
Real subtle.
Or you might see him. He might get his lead, and he might look to second base. Boom. That means inside to the left-handed hitter.
Yeah.
And if he get there and he look towards shortstop, boom, on out. Little
Yeah.
things like that, man. And that's in the game that everybody do. Everybody got something.
Yeah.
But everybody ain't banging on it.
Right.
I don't want to get into that.
Right.
But
And I
but
think-
yeah, everybody got something.
That's why there's only every couple whatever years there's that one big scandal.
Yeah, it's one big,
Because you get caught by a lot of people doing it, and then you're like, well, darn, caught.
Right.
But I think on the inside, like you said, everybody's doing it a little bit. So they can't really like rat on each other and be like, that guy's cheating.
Right,
'Cause
right.
it's
Because
like,
everybody doing
I'm
something.
cheating too.
Right. It's not really cheating if, you know, the other team don't find it like offensive.
Right.
It's not.
It's just nudges. Well,
Right. And pitchers on the mound, they're doing stuff too that
Yeah.
we don't know of. So
we don't know what they're doing.
yeah, we all need gain. Everybody trying to gain the advantage.
Exactly.
You know? So
Exactly. I think that there's a lot of that in almost every sport. Everybody's doing something
right.
to make sure that they get to where they want to be.
Right. You see the flopping in basketball and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. So same thing.
That's so funny when they do that in basketball. It makes me laugh every time. What is one piece of advice? I know you said you coach kids and stuff.
Yeah.
What is one piece of advice you'd give to not only upcoming stars already in the college, high school, AAA level, but also those kids that are just learning and just coming up into the baseball world?
Crazy asked me that today because last night I was just talking to a guy that made one of the biggest plays in Super Bowl history last night. You know, Malcolm Butler.
Yeah.
You know, we was together last night, whatever night, and we was talking about the same thing, and something like this came up, and both of us, I was like, he said this, I was like, man, this is what I tell all players. This is the thing. Somebody's watching you at all times. So make sure when you cross that line, when you come on that field, or you're anywhere around that field, you're doing what you're supposed to. It's business. You know, it's business. You know, you're having fun, but it's business. We don't want to get caught, you know, just all the time being like we're not attached to the game.
Right.
So, and when you're doing something, do it. Don't half do it because people are watching. You never know who's watching. And I say that when you say you never know who's watching because the way I got discovered, basically, playing against a team in Jackson, Mississippi, you know, a team in our district, Forest Hill, they had a guy, he's one of my best friends now. He was on the radar to be a first-round draft pick.
Okay.
So I knew people that were watching him.
Yeah.
So when I showed up, I was like, hey, it's time to go.
People are watching me now.
Yeah, and now somebody's going to be watching me after I play them.
Yeah.
You know, and they saw I went about my business. I got a Philadelphia Phillies card. His business card. It was the first one I got. Boom, next time I put on the field, a Brewer scout showed up, then they start coming from everywhere.
Exactly.
You know, and it's in high school. And yeah, like I say, I didn't know those other people were there when we wasn't playing that certain team. But then now, when I think about it, after I started seeing stuff when I got in pro ball, people were always watching. Yeah. You know, so, you know, and coach, you know, he tell me he go about his business this way. He's always like that. And then I started getting more serious about, you know, about my preparation for games.
Exactly. And I think also it applies to every sport, right? But it not only applies to the sport, it applies to what you do when you go out and what you do when you go out to dinner. There's always somebody watching. Right.
And, you know, proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the PPP, however far you want to go with the P's.
Exactly.
You know? So that saying is really true.
And I think I've seen a lot of people that I know fall down the ranks real quick and go down the drain just because they do something that they weren't supposed to or say something that they weren't supposed to and somebody heard it or somebody saw it.
Right.
And it's just kind of crazy. So I think there's a way that you have to carry yourself when you are trying to become a major league or even a minor league baseball player or any sport really.
Right. It's everything. We're really everything do with anything in life, you know.
Exactly.
So, you know, getting ready for an interview, you want to be prepared.
Exactly.
You know, you don't know who's watching you when you in the room waiting.
Exactly.
You know, you don't want to be on your phone doing different things, and you know, you want to be focused and you know the task at hand that you're about to take on. So always be prepared.
Always be prepared. Always be kind. Always be. There's a lot of things you should always be.
Right.
But I remember I went into a job interview and there were like 15 people there, and I was like, "Oh, one of these people could be like my boss."
Right. But you got to keep it loose too, though.
Yeah,
you know,
you
gotta
can't
keep
be like rigid.
You gotta let them. You got be confident, and loose, and let them know that you know what you're doing at the same time.
I'm here. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Right.
Exactly. For the major leagues and those players and the people that you played against, do you think it's a lot of mostly talent, mostly practice, or mostly like professionalism or anything like that? How do you think those people get there? Is it just talent? Is it a lot of practice? Can you be really bad and get really good?
I seen a lot of guys improve. I actually improved because I came in as just a right-handed hitter, I didn't start switch hitting until I got in pro ball.
Exactly.
You know, so and a lot of it was all learning and watching other people. You know, and you know it's a lot with professionalism too, like how you go about your business. We already discussed that, but it's when you're doing it,
Right.
how you're doing it,
Right.
and then you have some people, like you say, we have favoritism, and some people, coaches like the way certain people do certain things.
Yeah.
And that guy right there is going to be one of the guys that he don't have to be as good as you. Coach know he's giving it 137%.
Yeah.
And he's going he'll go to war with this guy. This guy he going to foxhole with. The guy that's giving it his all every pitch.
Yeah.
Every time a ball is hit his way, every time. And then you had a guy that's he's good. He's better. He knows he's better than everybody.
Yeah.
He know he's out there. And sometimes, he just go through the motions because he can do that
because
and get through the game
good.
because I was athletic guy that, when I learned that I really didn't. I couldn't fake it though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I couldn't. I just went out there and did what I do. And, just so happened I had some guys that was in my corner that liked it. I had some guys that didn't even like how I walked.
Exactly.
I'm being honest with you. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, dude, are we even talking about the game?
We
talking
just
about
talking
walking.
about
like
me
like
now?
Allen Iverson, we was talking about practice. I'm like, we talking about how I walk. Like, you serious? But it's another story for another day. And
Yeah.
And just going out there, man, and just handling your business every day. And baseball is a grind. Even the minor leagues, 140, 144 games. In the big leagues, 162 games. You got to be focused. You got to have that good support. You got to have, you have your time. You prioritize things, and we had a good support team. It makes it easier.
Right. And I think that's another good piece of advice is even though someone on your team may be 100 times better than you, 10 times better than you, 5 times better than you, 2 times better than you, if you are out there giving it your all every time, you will, like I've seen coaches completely like
right.
ixnay their most talented players
right,
because they don't try.
But you got to understand this too. A lot of the coaches weren't the best players.
Yeah.
So they was that guy.
They were that
so they
guy.
see that guy and they want to give that guy a chance. You know? So that's just how it go. But hopefully you have one of those coaches that like you.
Yeah.
And I was one of those guys that, some coaches love me, and I had a couple coaches I played for that like, oh, whatever, he ain't giving his all,
Yeah.
like I was like, man, I just look like that, it just looked like that.
Guys, I promise I'm trying.
right.
Yeah. So give me kind of I'm going to call it your Mount Rushmore of sports. It doesn't have to be just baseball. Give me your 4 players that you'd put on your mountain.
I can only give 4.
I'll give you 5.
You know what I'm gonna do? Can I do this? Can I name my solid 3?
Okay.
And then can I have a 3-headed monster at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'll give you that.
Okay. Of course, I look at everybody's feet. Now, number 1 got to be Michael Jordan.
Oh, of course.
The reason I say Michael Jordan because you hear everybody say, "Hey, who's the Michael Jordan of this sport? Who's the Michael Jordan of baseball? Who's the Michael Jordan of hockey? Who's the Michael?" So I got to go with MJ as the GOAT of all GOATs.
Oh, for sure.
Completely
agree.
And then, me second, I got to go with the greatest, Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
Just for what he stood for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Muhammad Ali just what he stood for, who he was, and also his skills and all that, but what he stood for. And, the many people came behind and followed. I love Floyd Mayweather. That's my guy. I would love to put Floyd there, but Muhammad Ali is just, it was just different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And, we didn't see much of Muhammad Ali because I'm young. We younger.
Yeah.
But Muhammad Ali was in our clubhouse in Detroit. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's the man. You know what I'm saying?
I would freak out. I'd
Wayne
be like,
Gretzky was, too. He's one of the million, too. But,
Oh, yeah.
But I go Muhammad Ali second. Third, because I played baseball. I'm Barry Bonds.
Okay.
Barry Bonds. Like, this dude's just, he might see 2 pitches a night and one of them might be over the wall. That's tough to do. If I'm taking 3 or 4 swings a game,
I'm missing 100% of it.
I'm like, this dude's unbelievable. And I was in center field when he hit 756. When he passed Hank Aaron, I was on the field.
Wow.
I want to say I was number 7. It was August 7th, 2007. I want to say that's the date.
To the date. Wow.
Yeah. August 7, 2007. I was number 7, so it was meant for me to be there.
Yeah.
That's it's just meant for me to be there. That's 777.
No such thing as coincidence.
Yeah, that's 777. That's a number like you know.
It's a good number.
Right. You
That's
can win at the casino with 7 too.
Exactly.
You can lose with it too.
Give me all the 7s.
Yeah.
I want them all.
That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I go Barry Bonds third, man. Love for Babe Ruth, all that, but he wasn't facing this what Bonds did.
Yeah.
Man, I seen Bonds just own people and everybody was like I said, he was walked. I don't know how many times with the bases loaded.
Yeah.
And I seen one the greatest pitching staff of all time, really, the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
Glavine, Smoltz, Avery, Maddox, and who the fifth starter. It don't even matter. You can throw anybody in there. But those guys, if first base was open, their manager Bobby Cox was like, "Don't pitch to him." That's how good he was.
Yeah.
And that's my guy.
It's a good top 3.
That's Barry Lamar. So now I'm getting that. Rushmore got 4.
Yeah.
I got a 3-headed monster I need to throw out at the end though, because these people right here, man, like they were global.
Yeah.
When I say global, I'm talking about in the Olympics.
Okay.
I'm talking about 2 of them are tennis players.
Oh, love tennis. I play tennis.
2 of them are tennis players. I got to go. In no particular order on these 3.
Okay. Just the 3-head
just
monster.
Roger Federer he just.
Amazing.
Yeah, his run he had, bro, and the age he did it too, it was like, he just dominated.
Yeah.
He dominated. And Serena Williams, Serena, I just gotta give her,
She's amazing.
Yeah. I really think, she's top 5.
Oh, for sure.
All time to me.
Of all players,
right,
for sure.
Right. I don't know too much about soccer and all that, but I'm saying all time, like Serena Williams and Roger Federer, Serena Williams, man, they really on the same. They're just a woman and man,
Exactly.
And last but not least, man, I got to go Michael Phelps, bro. Michael Phelps.
Swimming.
Yeah,
Okay.
Michael Phelps, man, the dude was a fish in water, man. He's a walking fish. Just not because I played in Michigan, I'm just saying, just watching what this guy got about 21 gold medals?
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know the exact number, but I know it's
A lot of
close to 30 or right around 30 medals. And, he did it in, about 4 Olympics.
Yeah.
I ain't meaning to leave Usain Bolt off, but I'm just saying Michael Phelps was different. Like the stuff he was doing, man. He might win 3 gold medals in one day.
Crazy. You couldn't catch me. I couldn't win one.
Right.
In anything.
I was wondering how, I'm like, some people probably can't beat Phelps running beside the pool.
Oh, no. I'd slip and fall into the pool.
Yeah, he was unbelievable, though.
Yeah, but those are all probably one of the greatest answers I've ever heard for that question. You really covered the entire world.
Yeah, that's why I'm a historian. Like,
yeah.
Like, and
yeah.
I hear a few players say that, and I hear them talk, and I'm like, yeah, we kind of similar, but I changed this, changed that, but that's where I am. I've been doing this since I was young.
Yeah.
So.
And I've like, as a child, I grew up playing a lot of different sports. I played softball, I played tennis, I did horseback riding, I did soccer, I did volleyball, I did all the things.
I like you.
I could never decide. I was like, oh, whatever, I'm just gonna try them all.
Right.
But I looked up to Serena Williams and I was like, Mom, I came home from tennis practice on like the 3rd day and I was like, Mom, I'm gonna be Serena Williams.
Right.
And she was like, oh, okay, sure.
Right.
You
right.
go
Hey,
for
but
it.
you gotta set the goal high though.
Right.
If you don't,
always
then
have to set the goal high.
I said it here and you finished it. You did great.
You did good.
So
You gotta always have high expectations for yourself.
Right.
And I think it's really interesting on the people you picked. They all have super rounded out, full backstories that I
Right.
think not all of us know and understand, but
Mhm.
they're all just amazing, not only goats in their sport, but in life as well, and what they did and what they stood for, like you said, with Muhammad Ali and everything like that.
You know what, man? I forgot one.
Okay.
My guy Tom Brady, man. I forgot.
Okay.
Brady, hey man, you in that 4, bro. I gotta, before I do the 3-headed, that's
He's
my
in
4.
the
That's my
the
4,
Mount
and then I had to have the
Rushmore
3-headed
Okay,
monster. Yeah,
perfect.
that's my guy, man. Like Brady, you got 7 Super Bowls, bro. Not only just 7, you won 6 in New England with everybody intact.
Yeah.
Then you changed the whole program and went down to Tampa, and you won with a team like, Tampa really, they so. But you went down there and won with a whole different coaching staff. Only person came with you was Grunt, and you went down there and nothing changed.
Yeah.
So the common denominator was
Tom Brady.
Exactly. So I got to give him,
I
he
agree
got
with
to be there. You know
that
what I'm
was
saying?
a good Mount Rushmore 4 plus.
Yeah,
Fluffy the
I
three-headed
gotta
dog.
I can't
You
I
gotta
can't
throw
say
'em
the
in there.
best ever and not mention those three.
Exactly. What do you think is one moment in your career that if you had to, you would redo?
In my career, one thing I redo is, and I want to say this first. Loyalty is big. Being loyal to somebody. That's big. That's a big thing to me.
Yeah.
And, I was like, young at a young age. That wasn't so big to me, especially in the sports world, because people come in late and but I had my agent that was with me from the beginning. And he was my pitching coach in college agent as well. He went to Mississippi State. I'm from Mississippi. And, I ended up moving to a different agent, after a few years I was in the big leagues. And I felt like, later on, there was a mistake I made. If I had anything to do over again, I would have never made that change. And the loyalty part, like he put me on the phone. Because, it wasn't like, hey, I'm leaving, going somewhere else. It was discussions, between me and him. Yeah. And he and I whatnot. And he put me on the phone, talked to Bobby Bonilla. Bobby Bonilla was talking, letting me know, like, hey, make sure this is what you want to do. Bo's a great guy, this and that. Bo McKinnon is my agent. And, shout out Bo, man. He's a super agent in baseball right now. And I wouldn't have never switched agents. If I'd have played my career, then go back and start right there, we would stay there. I would stay with him. But I was seeing different things at a young age. I was around older players, not really understanding and I was seeing other players at the time. You got to wait your turn.
For sure.
And I got impatient. Kind of getting impatient because I feel like I was doing certain things so fast that I was like, man, I think I should be on this level as far as this player and the player that came in after, kind of behind me that was getting certain things done, but not knowing, I don't understand what type of connections his agent may have.
Right.
His agent may have certain players. He might have been A-Rod agent or something. And, he can get certain things done, with different endorsements and stuff like that. And when it came to me, I was like, man, I should be getting some of that too. But I didn't understand, wait your turn. It's not for you right now. Right now you need to go make as much noise on the field as possible. Exactly. And I would have stayed with Bo. I would have stayed there. That's the only thing I would have changed what I did. As far as anything, that was the number one thing. Yeah. Stay with my first agent because he was loyal to me, man. And he was about the future. Yeah.
And I think that loyalty is such an important quality and ideal to have. And I know today in my day and age, in my group, in my generation, we're not seeing a lot of it. Like in football, people are going Texas to UCLA to NYU back to Texas.
They're going to the money.
You're following the money, and that money is going to be gone
at some point. But
at some point, that money is going to run out, and you're not going to have the connections that you could have had, and the friendships and all the things that you could have had if you stayed in one place. And even outside of sports, loyalty is dwindling.
Right.
In friendships and families and relationships, I see a lot of people who don't have it as a quality. And I know I struggled with loyalty as well. And now, like, looking back at, like, what I did, looking at, like, what you said, I would never have switched. Right. I would never have done some of the things I did if I had loyalty at the forefront of my mind. But I had instant gratification.
Right.
So it's really an interesting concept with that, and I think that's a great thing that you said. That
the people think the grass is green on the other side. And I was playing in that region where these people was. I went to this agency in New York. I don't want to say anybody's name. That's for a later day. But I went to this agency in New York, and so I'm playing in D.C. at the time, traded from the Tigers to DC, playing with the Nationals, and we're in the city, DC, Philly, New York, all the time. We're playing these guys 16 times a year, the Braves, Miami. So he was always on the East Coast, and I had went over to him after I got traded to the Nationals, and I'm seeing all this stuff, and I'm seeing the players that he got, and I'm seeing, and some of my big brothers was clients over there.
Yeah.
But not understanding me, I've only been in the game this long. They've been in the game 9, 10 years already. So they're gonna have this. They're gonna have these things, and then they got, he's not gonna have your back the same as that guy that had your back coming out of college, man.
Yeah.
The guy that grinded with you from the beginning. The guy that, made sure, never been to my house before I signed my first contract, but made sure if I didn't come to your house and see your living situation, a scout or anything is not coming to your house and see your living situation. So now when we talk contract, I need you to meet me at this hotel.
Yeah.
Me in Hattiesburg, talk to the, so we meet in Hattiesburg in the lobby, and so that they don't know your situation, so they don't know how to come at you. You don't think about those things till everything is all said and done.
Yeah.
And him, he was protecting me. He always protect me. When you look back on things, you don't realize till you get older, like, this guy really had my back.
Yeah.
And I see why he had, David Wrights. All the guys, he's a Nashville guy. Vanderbilt ended up getting his, masters and everything at Vanderbilt and all that, whatever you got. And
all the degrees.
So he's from Nashville. He's a Nashville guy. And, all the players that come out of Vanderbilt, they signed with Bo. David Price. David Price's, he had those guys come through Middle Tennessee State. You had DeJuan Brazelton, those guys. Me and DeJuan was at the same time, but he made sure he took care of those guys. And he would show up. My guy, Bo, in spring trainings, minor leagues, he's getting around to everybody. And that's what you want. You want that guy have your back.
Yeah. Last question I have for you, real quick. Give us one fun fact about yourself, or one thing that you wish you could do, or anything like that. Like, could be travel, could be skydive. Just give us one funny, quirky fact about
it's crazy you ask me that right now with, what's going on. What just released on Wednesday. I always tell my buddy this, man, my best friend who's with me all throughout the baseball process and all that, and, enjoyed everything with me and had to, downtimes pick me up. But I always say this, man. We never got to see Michael Jackson perform, bro. We saw a lot of stuff, Super Bowls, World Series, all this stuff, NBA All-Star games and finals games and, everything we saw. It was in Detroit at the time that they were doing good. Winning NBA championship. So we were seeing all these things, and it was like, man, we never got to saw Mike. And, that wasn't even in the forefront until after he passed. And it was like, realized, man, I never got to see Michael Jackson.
Yeah. And it's funny how those things happen where you're like, oh, like, this guy does great. He's cool. Whatever. I would see him. And then something happens. They pass away, and you're like, ooh, I actually should have done that instead of going to the movies or something.
Yeah, but now I heard the movie's great. We hadn't had time to go yet, and hopefully we'll see it in the next week or so.
Yeah, I'm going to see it tomorrow, so I'm really excited to go see that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on today. I love chatting with you and hearing all about the ins and outs of the clubhouse and just your life in general. So thank you for coming on.
Oh man, I've been anticipating coming here, for a couple of months now.
Yeah.
It's just that, the time didn't work out, but now it works out. We in town. My daughter, she's going to the Wings and Aces game is in town tomorrow, the preseason game, and she's going to the camp earlier. So I was like, man, we can get together then, just so happening. Everything works together. He put you in the right places where you're supposed to be.
Yes,
so I'm supposed to be here now, and I'm here, and,
awesome.
It worked out.
It did. Well, thank you again, and I had just the most wonderful time talking to you.
Thanks for having me.